Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at another of these Dinomania figures, and you can see straight away there's a little name tag up there on the top of this species stating that it is a Mosasaurus, and that is exactly what we have here. It honestly almost has a similar look to the Jurassic World Mosasaurus, which may have been the inspiration for this figure. I feel like maybe that film was what inspired them to create this figure, although the paint job obviously doesn't quite look like the Mosasaurus from the film, although I really do like that yellow streak that runs down the side of the body. It's not maybe the most perfectly applied, but I think that the actual streak looks really cool in contrast to the rest of that darker kind of bluish body. Definitely a really cool idea as far as that paint scheme goes. But again, a gigantic Mosasaurus figure that looks to be really beautifully detailed and painted, so let's go ahead get a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Mosasaurus, you can see that it does have a really beautiful appearance to the skin texture, and I definitely think it looks, again, very similar to the Jurassic World Mosasaurus as far as the overall appearance to it goes. You can see that it has, again, that very nice dark wash included, like they've included on all of their figures that I've seen so far. And you can also see the teeth in there are painted with a nice off-white coloration that helps to give them a pretty realistic appearance, although I will say that the teeth are a little bit sloppily painted. But on these kind of figures, I don't ever really expect perfection when it comes to the teeth, but honestly, they still look pretty good, and from a distance, you really can see how nice they do actually look. The eye is a glass eye, I guess you could say, although it's plastic, but whatever. It's got the glass eye type of an effect with a nice dark black, and it does help to give it a pretty realistic appearance as far as that goes. Looking at the opposing side, you can see just beautiful blues they've used. A really nice, beautiful light blue here on the lower side, and it transitions to a very nice dark blue up here on the back. And you can also see that the snout of the upper jaw also stays with that nice light blue. You can see the nostrils sculpted out up there at the tip of the snout. The inside of the mouth has a really nice dark pink type of a coloration. Beautiful little tongue sculpted out in there. And they actually do have the teeth here on the upper side of the inside of the mouth of the Mosasaurus. And in fact, the entire inside of the mouth is really quite nicely sculpted, I will say that. So that's really cool as far as that goes. And then once you start to move back into the body, you can see that very nice, very armored type of an appearance up here on the top start to pick up, and it gets very armored up here on the back again, similar to the way the Jurassic World Mosasaurus appears, and you can actually see some nice detail included within the kind of spiky armored appearance to the top of the Mosasaur. Once you move down here into the body, again it transitions back to that really nice light blue, and you can see lots of skin wrinkling going on, kind of showing the movement of the animal. And just in general right here, the way the skin is folding and bunching, I think is due to the animal having its mouth open so wide, so it's really kind of showing off the movement right there in the skin of the neck area. Once you move out the body, you can see that really nice flipper out here. It looks really cool, also a dark blue, and then transitions to a light blue here for the tip of the flipper. The underneath also has some really nice sculpt and detail, even a lot of skin folding and skin wrinkling going on all over the place here on the underside. Very cool. The opposing one also looks quite nice. This animal is in almost a completely neutral pose. It's very straightforward. The only thing that's really going on that would be different on this one is the tail is leaning a little bit to its right. As we move back the body, you can again see that really nice scaling, that beautiful skin texture that's brought out really nicely with that dark wash. You can see the seam where the body is connected right there in the center, but if you've ever had one of these kind of like larger stuffed style prehistoric figures before, you'll know that that's a very common thing, and hiding the seams is probably kind of hard on something like this. But looking as we move back, again, that scaling continues. It looks extremely cool as we move back into the body. We get back here to the flipper down here again. It looks really nice, beautiful detailing within the flipper. Definitely a really nice appearance as far as the paint apps go. Again, it's pretty much the same style here on the underside as far as that light blue. You can see Dinomania here and made in Mexico. But you can see it's also got that nice dark blue here and then again transitions to a light blue for the tip. So there's not too much color variation that is included in the figure, but what is included is very natural looking. Again, you usually expect a marine reptile to have like a lighter underbelly and a dark upper backside, so that's pretty much exactly what you see here. But you also have this really cool yellow streak that runs down the entire side of the Mosasaurus, and I actually really quite like that. And then you can see as far as the tail goes, we run out the length of the tail. You've got lots of really nice scaling as we do in fact move out the tail, and we get out here to that very cool kind of like a ridge-like appearance where these ridges up here on the back turn into just one solid line of them, and then they end out here on the end of the tail, and they do look really nice. Once again, very similar to the Jurassic World style Mosasaurus as far as the overall sculpt work goes. And like I had stated, this is in a very neutral position, so you don't really see too much going on. Actually, I think you can actually see the rib cage right there, which is really cool. Definitely didn't notice that before, but I do believe that is present on the other side. But you can also see that this side again looks pretty much just like the previous side did, but it also shows you that this is huge, really big. Again, it's very close in size to the Mattel Mosasaurus, so if you want a Mosasaurus that can compete with that one, this is definitely your guy. But honestly, a very impressive and very cool looking Mosasaurus from Dinomania. As far as the size goes on the Mosasaurus, for a height, you're not going to have too much going on. It's a little under 5 inches, somewhere around the 5-inch range, or about 13 centimeters, somewhere around there. But the real issue with the Mosasaurus is going to be its length, so we're going to bring the head way out there so we can go ahead and measure to the tail. And if we put this on the tip of the snout of our Mosasaurus and then go to the tail, you are looking at a length of around 27 inches or 69 centimeters, about 69 and a half centimeters actually, or about 27 and a quarter inches, somewhere in that range, so extremely large. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to this exceptionally large Mosasaurus, and you can definitely see that the body keeps going way over there, and these figures are really quite small in comparison. So again, the Dinomania figures are very large. That is no exaggeration. Trust me, if you order one, you will be very impressed by the overall size of all of these figures, and once again, this Mosasaurus is continuing to prove that. So this Dinomania Mosasaurus is really impressive. The sheer size of the figure, again rivaling the Mattel one, should show you just how impressive this figure is overall. It honestly is extremely large. I did not think there would be another Mosasaurus on the market that was similar in size to the Mattel version, but this one, without question, is about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's not too far off, that is for sure. Definitely a very large figure. I think the sculpt looks really good as well. Maybe not perfectly to what you see in Jurassic World, but I feel like it was inspired by that film. It has a somewhat similar appearance, especially with the very armored style scoot-like appearance along the back and the kind of like ridges that run along it. It's very similar to what you see on the Mosasaurus in the film Jurassic World, so I feel like the inspiration for this Mosasaurus probably came from the film, but again, I could be wrong, who knows. I do think that the sculpting and detailing of the figure is really quite nice. It does have a beautifully sculpted out appearance as far as the scaling that runs along the entire body, and then that very nice ridge-like back that runs along the animal, that very armored type of a look. And then even down to the beautiful flippers of the animal, they all look really cool. Nicely sculpted out teeth for the most part. They are a little bit sloppily painted, but I really don't think it takes away from the figure too much, because when you see something like this in person, the overall size is just so impressive, and the beautiful paint application that the majority of the body does include is so impressive that the little bit of sloppiness on the teeth really isn't much of an issue. Again, they use that kind of glass eye type of an effect, which, as far as I'm concerned, takes the figure to a little bit of another level as far as realism goes, but also the use of that dark wash really does a great job of that as well, bringing the detail out and really showing you just how much incredible sculpt and detail is included in this. The paintwork looks really good as far as the beautiful light tones of blue, and then that darker tone of blue up on the back. Again, a very realistic look to a marine reptile, because more often than not you would expect them to have that lighter underbelly, so anything that would be underneath them looks up and kind of sees a lighter coloration situation like the top of the ocean, so it kind of could camouflage, and then again, if you're above it, it's going to have that darker appearance, so it sort of can hide itself down there at the bottom of the ocean. So it's a very realistic appearance as far as the way it's painted. I think the yellow stripe that runs down the side also is shockingly quite cool to see. I really think that somehow has worked really well, and the way it plays off of the dark blue looks really, really neat. The yellow stripe isn't perfectly applied, as the paint just maybe looks a little too thick, but I don't think it takes away from the figure once again much at all, because honestly the yellow stripe is so striking. I think it definitely was a very good choice on the part of Dinomania, and even with the slight bit of sloppiness, it still looks extremely cool. So if you want to pick this Mosasaurus up, I will include a link in the description to the Dinomania website where you can do just that. As I said in my Ankylosaurus review, don't be alarmed if you see the prices on there, because the prices on there are in Mexican dollars, so as far as US dollars or wherever you're from, it's probably a bit different than what you're going to see as far as the price on there. They're actually really quite reasonably priced for sure. Definitely shockingly cheap, I would say, for the size of these figures. So I will include a link in the description. Make sure you head down there, pick up this very cool Dinomania Mosasaurus, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.